Good evening. On behalf of the Park Authority Board and the Park Foundation, I welcome you. First, let's show our virtual appreciation for the Westfield High School Chamber Singers under the direction of Katie H. Pierce. A very moving performance, which was so enjoyable too. I invite you to share your thoughts in the chat for them and for the other honorees. Tonight is all about recognizing very special people and organizations. The Elly Doyle Park Service Awards will be presented. So too, special Park Board Awards, as well as the Aiken Philanthropy Awards, will be given. There are lots of stories to tell and lots of people to say thank you to. So we will begin that very soon. But before that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I represent the Lee District on our park board. Last year, we pioneered the concept of virtual award ceremonies. Ours was among the first to go viral, and I dare say, among the very best. And this year, we are once again in the virtual sphere. With the pandemic still in our midst, we felt it was prudent to virtually celebrate these achievements and stay safe. As the chair of the Park Authority Board Awards Committee, I want to thank the Park Foundation for continuing their tradition of honoring those who provide tangible benefits to the community, as well as the Park Authority Board and the many staff members who collected nominations and put together this wonderful program this evening. Joining me this evening as co-MCs are Mason District Representative Ron Kendall, my committee chair, and Past Awards Committee Chair and Sully District Representative Maggie Godbold. Hi, Ron. Hi, Maggie. This is a very talented team, and I collectively will say that we will begin working together to keep our program on track and also keep it moving forward. Virtual or in person, we always have lots of folks to hear from and lots of honorees. This year is no exception. In fact, tonight we will hear from Congressman Jerry Connolly, Park Board Chairman Bill Bowie, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors Jeff McKay, and our keynote address, which will be presented by him. Our new Executive Director, Jay Cole, and the Park Foundation leadership will also be on board as they celebrate their 20th anniversary. It's going to be a great night, so get comfortable, grab some snacks and something cool to drink, and let's get the show on the road.
Cynthia, you have set the stage for a wonderful evening. Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Godbold, and I have the honor of serving on the Park Board representing the Sully District. It's great to be back. Although we all hate the idea of not getting to be together in person tonight, we do love the idea that virtually we can touch so many more people than we could accommodate before. Who doesn't love a crowd, especially when they have come together to say thank you and congratulations? Parks are a very special part of our lives. They are economic drivers that increase the value of neighboring properties by 5 to 20%. Parks attract residents and businesses. They provide both physical and mental health benefits. But most importantly, neighborhood parks attract and connect individuals of all ages and ethnic backgrounds, creating a stronger community. That's what tonight is about, remembering why you give so much and saying thanks for a job well done. Many of our volunteers and award recipients have already received special gifts, which this year include a lovely planter and a plant grown in our very own Green Spring Gardens greenhouse. Our outstanding volunteers also received a resolution from the Park Board and recognition from local elected officials. So all that is left to do tonight is to share their stories with you and mark this very special occasion.
Good evening to everyone, and Cynthia and Maggie, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Every day brings new challenges to the Park Authority, and these challenges we meet head on. It takes flexible and innovative leadership to look at things in a new light with a new perspective and plot a forward course. The Park Authority Board has been blessed by consistent and effective leadership. Park Authority Board Chairman Bill Bowie is now serving his 13th term. He has represented the Hunter Milk District on the board since 2005. Bill's busier than ever. He's working to create a blueprint for equity and access in Fairfax County. Most importantly, Bill is driving change that will allow all residents to enjoy the benefits of our glorious park system. That's One Fairfax at work. Please welcome Park Authority Board Chairman Bill Bowie.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. It has been said that love makes the world go round, but at the Park Authority, it's safe to say that it's volunteers like yourselves who keep our world turning. You provide invaluable service to our park system in so many ways. Martin Luther King once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" For our honorees tonight, it's an easy question to answer. You inspire us each day with the amount of time, talent, and energy you share at our parks and rec centers, our nature centers and historic sites, on our trails and golf courses, and answering questions and assisting others. As we look forward to the next 30 years under our renewed ordinance with the Board of Supervisors, we hope that you will continue this journey with us. In addition to our volunteers, it is my privilege tonight to honor some amazing individuals with the Chairman's Choice Award. This award was created to honor those who provide outstanding long-term support, service to, and advocacy on the part of the Park Authority. Our recipients well deserve this recognition. Our first honoree is County Executive Brian Hill, who provided outstanding leadership to us all during the COVID-19 pandemic. With jobs on the line throughout the county, Brian offered workers a lifeline through the county's job match process. The job match allowed employees affected by the facility closures the chance to be reassigned to positions where additional help was needed. This action gave the Park Authority much needed help when residents began flocking to parks and trails as a safe way to break the monotony of pandemic restrictions. Our second Chairman's Choice Award goes to County Director of Health, Dr. Gloria Adu-Asu. COVID-19 was an unprecedented health crisis for the county, and Dr. Gloria provided outstanding leadership in navigating these new waters. She provided the guidance and support the Park Authority needed to respond to this new health threat and to create policies necessary to keep patrons and staff safe. The guidance allowed us to successfully reopen facilities and restart programs as vaccinations became available and the initial health threat diminished.
Hello, I am so honored to receive the Chairman's Choice Award from the Park Authority Board. Since the early days of the pandemic, the Board of Supervisors, Fairfax County employees, and our regional colleagues have diligently worked together to promote a safe community. There have been many difficult decisions along the way, but through perseverance, determination, and trust in the guidance received from our public health officials, we pressed on through COVID-19. Our team has continued serving our residents while strategically positioned Fairfax County for the future. Our Park Authority has faced some unique challenges, and we pivoted to accommodate the needs of staff and the public. We made the tough decision to close park facilities during the early stages of the pandemic. Staff shifted the focus to managing trails and outdoor spaces as more and more residents and visitors sought safe places to recreate. Though crowds were large, and at times ensuring compliance with our mask mandates and social distancing presented challenges, we worked together to overcome them and push forward. Flexibility and agility were the keys to managing this pandemic, and they will continue to be the keys going forward. It is my honor to work side by side with you as we find ways to ensure the safety and health of our staff while providing the services our county deserves. As we continue to navigate through this pandemic, we are working to help our parks recover financially, to improve access for all residents, all while we look to enhance our operations. This award is a reflection of our county's strong leadership and dedicated workforce. We are a team. I am accepting this for our entire workforce as they are the engine of this great county. All the best, and thank you so much for this award.
Good evening, and thank you for selecting me as a recipient of the Chairman's Choice Award. I accept this recognition on behalf of the incredible men and women at the Fairfax County Health Department who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes for the past 20 months to keep our community safe. Public health is a team sport. It is what we do together as a community to create the conditions in which everyone can be healthy. And during this pandemic, it has been so heartwarming to see how we have rallied together as a community to adhere to all of the mitigation measures that many were not used to and were sometimes even uncomfortable. The health department has been very fortunate to enjoy the collaboration of many community and county partners, including the Fairfax County Park Authority, who has been a part of our emergency preparedness and response efforts over many years. During this pandemic, we have appreciated their commitment and efforts to promote healthy spaces and environments for our residents to enjoy. These wonderful spaces provided a much-needed space for people to walk, run, and play in fresh air during the darkest days of the pandemic. Our health department team worked with colleagues at the Park Authority to develop protocols to minimize the spread of the virus at daycares, camps, and other park facilities. Our efforts were successful thanks to the hard work of Park Authority staff and volunteers who adhered to the protocols that we provided. It has been a long road, and we've come a long way together. However, there's still work to be done. I am so grateful for the partnership we have in the Park Authority and would like to encourage all of you to stay safe, wear your mask, get your vaccine or booster if you haven't already done so, and get your flu shot as well. Thank you again for this honor.
Now it's time for a little surprise. You will find this on your program tonight, but only because we just added it, and it's something very special this year. In fact, it was a request we kept quiet for several months with the collaboration of the Park Board Executive Committee and a couple of key staff members. At the beginning of the new year, we said goodbye to longtime park director Kirk Kincannon as he retired from his post. A search was quickly launched for a new executive director, but these things take time, and we wanted to make sure we got it right. So two other outstanding park professionals stepped in to fill this hole in park leadership: Deputy Director Sarah Baldwin and Amy Vosper. Sarah accepted the mantle of acting executive director, and both women assumed a host of new responsibilities to get us through the challenging times. This wasn't an easy task. Park revenues were still down because of COVID. New COVID-19 rules and regulations seem to be popping up every day from local, state, and national authorities. Determining when and how to reopen facilities and restart programming was a never-ending duty. Still, Sarah and Amy rose to the challenge each day and learned to pivot with great skill. It was not easy keeping a secret like this, but I know we are giving them a surprise with these awards tonight. It was no surprise to me that they would earn such an honor. The video you will see tonight was taped under the guise of an award nomination.
So one of the most challenging parts of the pandemic happened in March 2020 when we made the decision for the health of the community that it was best to close down our 427 parks and leave open our trails. I worked with our division directors to come up with a logistical plan of how we put barricades up in our parking lots and how we communicate this to staff in the community about what was happening. And during that time, one of the challenges that we faced was the record numbers of people that were coming and using our trails. People wanted to be outside, people were wanting to relieve stress, and our trails were a place that they could do that. So we had to pivot very quickly and remobilize staff.
One of the great things that happened during this COVID time, which is kind of crazy to say, but our staff really came together. We were asked to go ahead and try and make masks for our entire Park Authority family, which was 2,500 people. And we turned one of our rec centers into a full-fledged sewing expedition. And they actually ended up making 10,000 masks for our staff and for other county agencies, as well as some of our friends groups and volunteer groups. So there are some things that happened during COVID that we felt that strengthened our team, strengthened our staff in so many different ways.
I'm very proud of how our staff adjusted to the new mandates and were able to adjust our operations so that they were safe not only for our staff working in our facilities, but also the community coming in.
And finally, the third surprise of the night is another special awardee who just happens to be our keynote speaker as well. And yes, I am talking about Chairman Jeff McKay. Chairman McKay's leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic helped protect residents throughout our park system and throughout the county, accommodating many unique challenges faced by the Park Authority. His ability to get the job done while communicating with staff and with the community throughout the process helped present a calm, strong, reassuring presence during the worst of the shutdowns. His ability to get the job done, finding much needed PPE, working to accommodate and manage flexible schedules for staff and telework, embracing virtual meetings and programming, as well as providing the IT tools necessary to do it well. Jeff was a stalwart in support of the Park Authority Board, enabling and being supported by the new ordinance and the newly revised MOU. Chairman McKay, he helped fill the Park Authority with an enormous financial gap that was created by closures and assisted in securing CARES Act funding. Those numerous accomplishments helped keep the parks running for our community. The Fairfax County Park Authority Board is very proud to recognize our friend and supporter, Chairman Jeff McKay, with a Chairman's Choice Award.
Well, Chairman Bowie and members of the Park Authority Board, it's a real honor and privilege to receive this award, especially after what we've been through over the last year plus. And I want to salute the men and women of the Park Authority, as well as our county residents and my fellow members of the Board of Supervisors, because together we've navigated through difficult times, pivoting to virtual platforms, making hard decisions about closures and safe reopenings, and getting money necessary to the Park Authority to fill budgetary gaps that were created by this pandemic. And so it's really been a team effort. I'm really proud of the Park Authority. When this pandemic hit, our folks poured into our parks facilities for mental health breaks and for recreation, and our 20,000+ acres of parkland provided respite and provided opportunities in a very One Fairfax way for all of our residents in Fairfax County. And it's a pleasure to receive this award. But more importantly, I want to thank the Park Authority Board and the men and women of the Park Authority for a job well done as we've navigated these uncharted waters, and know as we move forward, we're on Team Fairfax together.
On a night like this, we generally look back at what has been. However, it's now time to look forward. After an extensive search, I'm proud to introduce our new Park Authority Executive Director, Jay Cole. You will hear from Jay tonight. Jay represents the future of the Park Authority, and she is well qualified to take us on this journey. Jay has a unique set of skills for her job. She is trained as an ecologist, but also has park experience from the programming and the recreation side. Jay grew up in Fairfax County and in Fairfax County parks, so she has deep roots in the community. She is also strongly committed to the One Fairfax ethic and our mission to make our park system accessible to all. So this is just the beginning of a great night of recognition, praise, and pride. This is a chance to savor each moment and look with admiration to the people who rose to the occasion over the past year. Thank you, and please enjoy the show.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations to our Chairman's Choice recipients. I know Sarah and Amy were surprised, but they are so utterly deserving of this recognition. For many years, former Sully District Representative Hal Strickland served the Park Board and the residents of Fairfax County. This award is a tribute to him. Hal is all about collaboration and partnerships, putting the right people together with the right opportunities. Tonight's three winners provide a meaningful example about getting together and getting the job done. Let's find out all the details.
The Harold L. Strickland Partnership and Collaboration Award was established in honor of the retiring Park Board members' long service and significant contributions to the Park Authority. In the spirit of Strickland's accomplishments, this award recognizes the value and importance of the teamwork and cooperation necessary to provide state-of-the-art facilities in Fairfax County parks.
I feel very honored to receive this award. It's so nice to be recognized for some of the work you did. It was would have happened without Ed and Steve help on this project, and also the park staff who got all of our materials together, and especially Eric provided us with any tools that we didn't have to get the project done. Well, we started making the tables because, like as I said, they were in bad shape and needed that. Meeting with the park staff, who were really great on this project, we couldn't have done it without them. It was just a real need here at the park to get that done.
Well, it was a fun group experience. So we basically demolished the old tables, cut new lumber to fit, and installed the hardware, and then finished off the project. So.
To build the tables, we brought in a circular saw from the park, and we also had to have the wrenches and the sockets because we had to undo the bolts that were already rusted in there, and that was the Probably the most challenging part was getting the tables apart, getting the old bolts apart. And then after that, we just cut every board in half and then just put them on the table and used brand new hardware that Eric had bought for us, and we got it all put back together. So I brought my router, so I was able to round off the edges, because the last thing we want to do is, after the kids have come here, seen the animals, taken a wagon ride, done a bunch of other good stuff, we don't want them leaving the park because they've got a splinter in their hand, and that's the only thing they remember from their visit to Frying Pan Farm Park.
Yeah, it's just nice to, when you work on a project like that, to see people actually enjoy it on a regular basis. It gives them a great space to have that party and that picnic.
The most rewarding part of my volunteer work at Frying Pan Park is doing the wagon rides and running the carousel, because it lets me interact with children and see them have fun, enjoy the outdoors, and get to see how a working farm actually operates.
I think we were honored by the park for this award because the tables were really in bad shape, and people really enjoy using them for picnicking, and we get to see a lot of people use them and enjoy them, and replacing the wood on those tables saved the park a lot of money instead of purchasing new tables.
Our next speaker is a friend of parks and a gifted public servant. He brings real meaning to the term good government, responsiveness, and personal involvement. Basketball star Michael Jordan noted that some people want it to happen, some people wish it would happen, and others make it happen. We know what category Chairman Jeffrey McKay falls into, because every day Jeff is making it happen. What is he doing, you might ask? Well, there's the adoption of the county's strategic plan, check. Implementation of One Fairfax, check. New, greener, and cleaner energy policies, check. Appropriate policies, protections, and access to vaccines for all of us during COVID-19, check. And for those of us who love parks, the renewal of our MOU and enabling legislation with the Board of Supervisors, an action that means another 30 years of Park Authority stewardship and recreational leadership and opportunity. Check, check, check. Please welcome our keynote speaker and the official who chose me some years ago to represent Lee District on the Park Authority Board. So without delay, welcome Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Jeff McKay.
Fairfax County is known as a great place to live, and our parks, rec centers, golf courses, nature centers, historic sites, and green spaces are a large part of what makes this such a desirable community. Tonight, I am honored to be here to recognize and celebrate the volunteers who helped to make this a gold medal park system. It's been said that volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in. Your volunteer work speaks volumes about the kind of community in which you want to live. Fairfax County has volunteers dedicated to preserving history, volunteers committed to protecting the environment and preserving green space, volunteers who focus on keeping people healthy through recreational opportunities, and volunteers who spend time mentoring our young people. We have always valued the work of all of our volunteers, countywide and in the Park Authority. When the pandemic forced an end to many volunteer activities, people regardless found ways to help their community. This year was significant in two other ways. In July, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved the ordinance that reestablishes the Park Authority. This assures those who love our park system that the Park Authority will be around for at least the next 30 years. Secondly, we approved a memorandum of understanding with the Park Authority that updates the responsibilities of both parties. These documents rededicate us to the mission we all share, to make park and recreational opportunities accessible to every resident of Fairfax County. 2021 was another year that challenged all of us. The continued loss of lives, educational opportunities delayed, and family gatherings postponed. But just as we were all challenged to our very limits, hope was always shining through. Individuals such as those honored tonight rose to the occasion and reminded us that every one of us has the power to make great change for the good. Philanthropists kept giving, volunteers kept planting. When people came to parks in record numbers seeking an outdoor haven in which to breathe fresh air and exercise, volunteers returned eager to help. Not surprisingly, volunteers were among the first to return, to adapt, and to respond to the park system reopen. Thank you and best wishes for a healthy and happy holiday season filled with family and friends.
Thank you, Jeff. Having had my career in environmental protection, I find the next award to be my favorite. Environmentalist Sally Ormsby was tenacious and passionate in her respect for a healthy environment. She knew that one person could make a tremendous difference, and she worked hard to encourage citizen stewards in Fairfax County. Her work was notable, and she left a legacy of accomplishment. She was a hands-on person. She told people what was on her mind, and she insisted that each of us individually and collectively had a vital role to play in protecting the natural world. As primatologist Jane Goodall once wrote, "It's up to us to save the world for tomorrow." The two recipients of this year's award take those words to heart. Let's learn more.
The Sally Ormsby Environmental Stewardship Award was established in recognition of Sally B. Ormsby's many years of service as a citizen steward. This award recognizes individuals and organizations whose actions embody the spirit and values of stewardship and result in tangible environmental benefits.
Bob Dins. I've been here almost 12 years now, and I am the trail maintainer. It involves more than just maintaining trails. It's planting, doing the gardening work, doing weeding, and removing any debris that might be on the trails to impede people from having a decent walk. Well, there wasn't anything here except invasive plants. And when they finished the new pathways, I just felt it needed more than just where two trails come together. So I just pulled the logs that had already been cut out of the woods, made a little bit of a corral for them, and planted the ferns and some other type plants from my house. Well, luckily we have a lot of nice people. There's very few litter that I have to pick up. But when I do walk the trails, I'll always carry a plastic bag with me just in case. Today we have almost 70 children coming from post-school. I will be teaching children what are the invasives and what are not, and why we are pulling the invasives and trying to keep them from spreading in the park. So I enjoy seeing the kids out here, and I don't mind answering questions and so forth. I grew up like in not a real wooded area, but a real suburban area that had a lot of trees, and we would always be out in the woods playing. So I'd like to see the children doing that instead of being at home and maybe on a computer or a cell phone, and be out here and enjoying the the weather and the park. So I like to interact with people, and this is what I like, so it's easy to tell people. Most rewarding part is the people I work with, and then the people that I meet on the trail doing my work. And I just really like telling them what the parks are like. I'm very proud that my bosses think well of me with the work I do. So, you know, I'm glad my work is appreciated, let's put it that way.
My name is Pamela Smith, and I am the unit coordinator for the Green Spring Master Gardeners. And the Green Spring Master Gardeners have been here for 20 years. In fact, next year is our 20th anniversary. And we are public educators. So a lot of people think that what we do is maintain gardens, but that's not just what we do. It's not really our mission. Our mission is to teach people about good horticultural practices. Whenever we put together a garden, whenever we design one or plant one, it's always with the intention in mind of educating the public. So in the wildlife garden, you see we've put up signs, and the signs say why it's important to plant certain plants, to attract the bees, to have water to provide for the wildlife. And so our whole idea in having these gardens is to teach the public, and Master Gardeners are always here to educate, always here to answer your questions. For the children, usually we're working in the gardens when they come by, and we like to let the children do the talking and let the children do the asking. For instance, with the milkweed, we found a milkweed seed pod, and I opened it up for her and I said, wow. And that started a whole conversation with her about milkweeds, and then how she loves lions, and then I showed her the lion's tail plant. That's how you educate children, is just let their curiosity start to flow. Master gardeners are also stewards of the land, and here especially at Green Spring Gardens. We make sure that we recycle all the garden debris that we can. So you see Jim today working in the compost station. He has the thermometer in which he checks the compost to see what temperature it's at. There is a temperature at which we want to get the compost because that's when there's the most activity going on. We also then take what is being decomposed and put it into the next bin and keep adding. So we're constantly adding to the compost bin so that we end up with some really nice composted soil that we can add to the gardens. The Green Spring Extension Master Gardeners are honored to receive this award because we really feel a connection to Green Spring Gardens and to the desire to be good stewards of the land. And so we are honored to know that people appreciate the work that we have done for the Park Authority and for the public.
It is now my pleasure to welcome the newest member of the Park Authority leadership team, Executive Director Jay Cole. Jay came to us in mid-September and immediately made it clear that she was on the move and ready to get to know our park system. She is on a mission to visit all 420 of our parks within 1 year, and as of the end of October, she had visited nearly 100 of them. In her new role as Executive Director, Jay brings more than 2 decades of leadership experience with award-winning recreation and park agencies. She comes to us from the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, where she served as Chief of the Park Planning and Stewardship Division. Jay provided overall strategic direction for long-range planning, natural and cultural resource management, development review, and trail planning and construction. And Ms. Cole is a hometown girl, having lived in Reston for 25 years. Although it's early, She promises to bring change, to embrace One Fairfax, to champion equity and increased access for all, and to ultimately drive this agency towards new heights and achievements. Please welcome Park Authority Executive Director Jay Cole.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to join you for my first Elly Doyle Award celebration. This marks my 7th week as the Executive Director for Fairfax County Park Authority. In that short time, I've had the pleasure to meet some of the nicest, smartest, and most dedicated people here at Fairfax County Park Authority, and I am so glad to have joined you. One of the first things I set out to do was to tour our fantastic park system. It's my goal to have visited all 420 parks within my first year as the Executive Director. I have a little over 110 parks under my belt so far, and I'm having so much fun getting to know our system and meeting the people who make it all possible, our staff and our volunteers. I always say that we're in the business of fun, and I love seeing the fruits of our labor every day. It's amazing and important work, and I appreciate everything you do every day. Volunteerism is so important to building strong communities and giving back. I have 5 rules of work that I live by, and rule number 1 is show up. Show up for yourself, show up for your family, show up for your colleagues, and show up for your community. Park volunteers embody showing up, and despite the realities of COVID, in FY 2021, boy did they ever. More than 4,000 volunteers provided 71,467 volunteer service hours to the Park Authority. That's about $2 million in cost avoidance, which is fantastic. There has been nothing easy about the past year. COVID-19 has been a challenge for all, personally and professionally. But across the country, parks departments were one of the heroes of COVID. Here at Fairfax County Park Authority, park attendance was up 60% from pre-pandemic. Over 31,000 participants took advantage of our innovative virtual programming. Pool reservations regularly reached capacity, as did our summer camps. And our summer entertainment series had record attendance. Golf rounds went through the roof, increasing over 50% from FY19. And we even converted Audrey Moore to a mask-making facility, creating masks not only for Fairfax County Park Authority staff, but for Fairfax County staff as a whole. Parks are critical to where we live, work, and play. Parks are economic drivers. World-class places require world-class parks and recreational facilities. Look to Central Park in New York, Millennium Park in Chicago, and Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and the significance of parks becomes clear. Studies have shown that over 90% of outdoor experiences happen close to home. So parks play a critical role in improving health outcomes, specifically in underprivileged communities. Our trails and open spaces provide free opportunities for vigorous physical activity. Parks create a clear sense of place and can help break down social fragmentation by bringing together different communities and increasing social capital. One of my goals for our park system is to advance Fairfax County's One Fairfax policy and ensuring that in Fairfax County Park Authority, race and income do not predict the quantity and quality of parks in a specific area, and that our rec centers are affordable to all residents. I came from Montgomery County, but I grew up in Fairfax County with Lake Fairfax as my backyard. Fairfax County Park Authority allowed me the opportunity to fall in love with nature, and it's a privilege to be able to lead, conserve, and enhance my childhood park system. I look forward to the great things that are ahead for the Park Authority. And again, I want to thank the volunteers, staff, and partners of this agency who are so dedicated to making the Fairfax County Park Authority, the county as a whole, and the environment great. Speaking of volunteers, now it's time to meet the outstanding volunteers for 2021 as selected by their peers at sites throughout the system.
Volunteers offer invaluable services at county parks, recreation facilities, golf courses, nature centers, and historic sites. Each year, outstanding volunteers are recognized for their service to our park system. With the arrival of COVID-19 and the closure of the park system for several months, volunteer service came to a stop. However, since our reopening and the implementation of new procedures, practices, and policies, the volunteer force has come back, eager to serve and willing to take on the new challenges we face. Let's meet the 2021 honorees. Elaine Sommer volunteers at Riverbend Park, where she educates all who will listen about nature. She arrives early to help prep for programs and stays late to clean up. She engages kindly with visitors and program participants and doesn't shy away from the dirty work, whether it's cleaning paintbrushes or cleaning dishes. She's continued to help run programs throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, showing her love and dedication to the park with hand sanitizer in hand. Mark Maslin volunteers at Laurel Hill Golf Club. With more than 5 years of service, he is quiet, calm, and efficient, and always makes himself available when others need their shifts to be covered. With staff shortages during COVID-19, he pitched in, never skipped a beat. He is well liked by Laurel Hill's staff and patrons. He's a staple on Mondays and a leader for his shift mates. Dennis Carlton can best be described as a utility player who can be called on whenever needed to fill multiple volunteer positions at Twin Lakes Golf Course. He is reliable, a permanent sub, and he worked multiple days a week when needed throughout the pandemic. When a new software system was launched for starters and tee coordinators, he learned the new system and was instrumental in training other volunteers. Mary Claire Hess is a long-standing volunteer at Cub Run Rec Center, well-loved by staff and customers for her positive attitude. As a front desk health screener, she's played an important role in the rec center's busy Sunday mornings. She was one of the first volunteers to return during the pandemic and has adapted to all the changes that have taken place. Henry Champagne volunteers at Audrey Moore and South Run Rec Centers, and he's done it for nearly a decade. Henry is known to have a warm grandpa effect on the customers who love to listen and learn from him, and he is consistently caring, giving, and creative with each of his classes. He was also among the first volunteers to return after the COVID-19 shutdown, and his help was invaluable. 3 of Green Spring Gardens volunteers saw a need and answered it in a big way. When COVID-19 affected operations, staff at Green Spring needed cloth face masks to prevent the spread of the virus in the workplace. Janet Hams, Amy Martin, and Liz Proman generously volunteered to make enough masks so that each staff member would have 2 to use in rotation. These long-term Green Spring volunteers demonstrated the high-caliber performance we've all come to expect from park volunteers, who in this case stitched up masks to help keep staff members safe. In Judy Doherty's 4 years at Huntley Meadows Park, she's taken ownership of the native plant garden, researching, designing, and planting with native pollinator plants. She rarely comes by without a new plant in hand and a trowel in her pocket. Her effort has changed the face of the Norma Hoffman Visitor Center. She now volunteers in an interpretive role as a roving trail naturalist. Bryn Wally has a positive spirit and enjoys helping wherever she's needed. She brings patience, flexibility, and dedication to her service. She volunteers throughout the rec centers. Once COVID-19 restrictions were lifted, Bryn was back. On the 6 a.m. shift, she greets early risers with a smile, and customers at Mount Vernon and Lee District Rec Centers appreciate seeing her familiar face at both locations. Nancy Turner's love of history led her to Sully Historic Site, where she quickly learned the history of the Lees and the enslaved population that called Sully home. She soon began sharing her knowledge with Sully's visitors. She assists with special events too, such as candlelight tours and Eggster bunny programs, and helps with setup and cleanup for scout programs and dairy days. During COVID-19, she's been a key member of the gardening team, working in the beautiful, ornamental 1794 garden. Touring docent, special events, gardener, museum aide, she is committed to the public, and this has made her one of Sully's greatest assets. Jose Acosta, an animal care volunteer for the past 3 years, provides exceptional care for the 17 tanks of snakes, turtles, amphibians, lizards, and other critters at Hidden Oaks Nature Center. When COVID-19 limited the number of volunteers allowed to work in the center, Acosta became one of the 3 adults who covered all the animal needs. His service ensured that all the animals were cared for and remained healthy. Pam Pontillo has been a valued volunteer for 3 years, assisting with Providence Rec Center's weekly adapted fitness class for teens and young adults with mild intellectual disabilities. When classes resumed after a long hiatus due to the pandemic, she didn't hesitate to jump back in to volunteer, never missing a class or the opportunity to provide encouragement and positive energy to the class participants. She takes time to go the extra step, following up with families who've missed a class. She was particularly eager to resume with classes even before vaccinations began taking place, citing how much this population needs an outlet for both physical and mental health. As a front desk volunteer, Bob Jarrell gives customers their first taste of South Run Rec Center's unique family atmosphere and outstanding facilities. He is friendly and helpful, and those who work with Jarrell say that when he comes on duty, the whole place lights up. As Scouting Program Coordinator, Bob has given freely of his time to help Eagle Scout candidates develop service projects and memorable contributions to the park and to the community. Chuck Basham is a fixture at Spring Hill Rec Center. He's been a dedicated volunteer for the last 15 years, never missing the chance to say hello to patrons and staff and assist however needed. Basham was one of the first volunteers to return after the COVID-19 shutdown, eager to get back into the routine and willing to modify procedures to make the rec center operate safely and smoothly. He doesn't volunteer just a few days a week, but every single day of the week. Dependable, knowledgeable, and welcoming, he is the embodiment of a dedicated volunteer. Lisbeth McCarrick has always been an outstanding volunteer and was one of the first volunteers to return when Lee District Rec Center reopened after the COVID-19 closure. Her warm smile and calm demeanor are especially valued when assisting during busy check-in periods. McCarrick is always punctual and sets a great example for other volunteers. Tom Eason is a reliable volunteer who did not let the pandemic deter his interest in helping to maintain and improve the gardens at Oakmar Rec Center. Working with the landscaping group, he weeds, mulches, waters, plants, and prunes. As landscaping staff member Lori Short says, Tom is our quality control. He always does a great job. His understanding of gardening methods and techniques has complemented and enhanced the knowledge and skills of others in the landscaping group. Marcus Colva has proven time and again his willingness and flexibility to adapt to the different aspects of park operations at Hidden Pond Nature Center. He's also an outstanding mentor to younger volunteers. Colva has assisted with public programs and nature walks and has worked on the arduous task of pulling out by hand the invasive aquatic parrot feather plant that began clogging Hidden Pond. He also assists with the site's popular Pohick Ranger Nature Series. He's one of the many reasons Hidden Pond remains so popular with the residents of Fairfax County. James Waller is an outstanding volunteer with 3 years of experience. He's a gardening volunteer as well as a touring docent, and he gives us all in both areas. When tours of the mill were allowed again, he enthusiastically shared his knowledge of and the love for the mill and its history. He always brings a cheerful, enthusiastic attitude to his work, going above and beyond what is expected to further the site's goals and mission. Elliot Soderholm's work at Eleanor C. Lawrence Park has resulted in healthier forests for native plants and animals, the protection of an important historic cultural site, and many happy patrons commenting on the excellent shape of the trails. He leads by example, and his true love of working at the park inspires everyone around him. He's been active in trail maintenance, trimming overhanging branches and vines, mowing trails, and clearing culverts to improve drainage. He also helped clear the historic barn site of damaging vegetation and worked to prepare a new section of the forest for a controlled burn. His dedication and hard work have made a significant difference. Daniel Kim is an efficient, committed volunteer who can always be counted on to take excellent care of the animals at Eleanor C. Lawrence Park. This teen volunteer finds a way to balance his volunteer work with school and ROTC training. Kim not only does a wonderful job keeping the animal cages clean, but he also helps clean the visitor center too. In short, he helps ECLP make a great impression. Larry Zanker can be counted on to help with just about any task and to provide a bit of levity for staff and patrons alike. He's been volunteering for over 13 years and knows Audrey Moore Rec Center well. He carries out his duties with pride and takes ownership in the property. Whether engaging staff with his gentle banter or chatting with customers as he tidies up, seeing Larry around Audrey Moore is sure to brighten the day. He took it upon himself to expand his role to cleaning up the skateboard park, not only picking up trash, but taking the time to separate the recycling and disposing of debris appropriately. His recycling efforts make our world a little bit greener, and his humor and positive attitude make the whole environment a whole lot brighter. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our 2021 Outstanding Volunteers.
Hi, my name is Jose Acosta, and I am an outstanding volunteer for 2021 at Hidden Oaks Nature Center. I'd like to thank the amazing staff at Hidden Oaks and FCPA for selecting me. Thank you.
Hey there. I'm Dennis Carlton, the 2021 Outstanding Volunteer for Twin Lakes Golf Course in western Fairfax County, next to Centerville High School. Congratulations to all the volunteers being recognized at this event. You really do make Fairfax County a special place to live.
I'm Henry. Adaptive Aquatics at South Run has been very special to me for the past 15 years. Our instructor Meg, the other volunteers and I give the children confidence. They reward us with smiles.
Hi, I'm Judy, and I'm a 2021 Outstanding Volunteer at Huntley Meadows Park. Huntley Meadows has always been a really special place for me. So in 2017, when I had the opportunity to become a volunteer, I jumped on it, and it's been a dream job for me. I consider it an honor to be part of the wonderful group of staff and volunteers who love and care for the park. It's truly a special oasis.
Hello, my name is Daniel Kim, and I am the Outstanding Volunteer at Eleanor C. Lawrence Park. I came to volunteer at this place because I fell in love with the park and the animals at the visitor center.
Hello, this is Bob Jarrell from South Run Rec Center. Volunteering has provided me a way to support the community and give back to those who have supported me in the past. I would like to thank all my co-workers at South Run, and specifically Kurt Lauer and Johnny Lopez. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Marcos Colva, and I'm an outstanding volunteer at Hidden Pond Nature Center 2021. I volunteer because I get to spend a lot of time with a variety of plants, animals, and people. And I'd like to thank Mike, Michelle, and my parents for helping me get to where I am today.
Hi, I'm Amy Martin, one of the 2021 Outstanding Volunteers at Green Spring Gardens, only representing the many, many wonderful volunteers we have.
Hi, I'm Mark Maslin with Laurel Hill Golf Course, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the Volunteer Recognition Program this year. I enjoy the sense of community and contribution that you get from volunteering. Laurel Hill is a beautiful resource in the county park system.
Hello, my name is Lizbeth McCarrick. I volunteer at the Lee District Rec Center. I just wanted to thank everyone for choosing me as a 2021 Outstanding Volunteer. I really appreciate it and look forward to continuing all my volunteer work at the Rec Center.
Hi, I'm Liz Perlman. I'm a volunteer at Green Spring Gardens. Thank you to all the staff of Green Spring Gardens and the county park system for helping us get through these long months of the pandemic.
I've been with the parks for about 14 years, and I really do love it. I have never seen any other place quite like the park. I think it's wonderful that we have them here, and it's been an amazing opportunity for me. So thank you again for the award, and congratulations to everybody who got it this year.
Good evening. My name is James Waller. I'm a volunteer at Colvin Run Mill. It really is a joy to volunteer there. It has a combination of so many fascinating aspects of history, technology, nature, economics, sense of community, and of course, food, which I dearly love. I'd like to commend the Fairfax County Park Authority for maintaining this jewel by having a new wooden water wheel and wooden flume installed this spring. And also salute the professional staff there, led by Julie Gurney, as well as my friends at the Colvin Run. We all have different interests, but we share the same objectives, and we're ably led by our president, Dan Dyke.
Hello, my name is Nancy Turner. I'm the 2021 Outstanding Volunteer for Sully Historic Site. I'd like to thank all of the staff and all of the volunteers at Sully who make it a great place to work.
Thank you very much. These are amazing volunteers, many of whom were the first to return when the system reopened and have been at the forefront of our COVID-19 safety measures and mandates. You have made an immeasurable difference. Thank you so much. Now, history can be intriguing, and most people love a good story from the past. In fact, one of the most popular online features we have is Artifacts, where once a month we gather information about one item in our immense collection and discuss it. Individuals and societies do leave traces of existence, from cave carvings or remnants of daily life to the heroic acts that are remembered through time. Our next award celebrates cultural stewardship and one individual who has made a tremendous difference in the protection and interpretation of the past in Fairfax County. Let's hear her story.
The Mayo Stuntz Cultural Stewardship Award recognizes significant contributions made by individuals, organizations, or businesses promoting the preservation and stewardship of cultural resources in Fairfax County. It is named in honor of acclaimed author Mayo S. Stuntz, one of the original members of the Fairfax County History Commission.
My name is Barbara Naif, and primary volunteer position right now is with the History Commission. But I also have volunteered for the Park Authority, and I've done multiple things. Primarily, the most ambitious project that we've done was last year in 2020, the Board of Supervisors directed the History Commission to do canvass all assets in the county of anything that had a Confederate name or a Confederate association, and to identify them. And I did much of the writing for the narratives of the report, and the report was about 500 pages. We presented it to the Board of Supervisors in December, so we were very proud of it. And then I served on the committee that dealt with developing the first county and park authority cultural resource management plan. And within the commission I serve on is the inventory of historic sites, which attempts to identify sites. And Colvin Run Mill Historic Site is one of my favorite places because it is teaching the history of technology, which is always interesting and challenging, and people often don't think about it. So this is a world they didn't know about, and it's not that long past. It's hard to think about what I would claim as the one with which I have the most pride. And I would say that it is the preservation of the Frying Pan Meeting House. It's an everyman's building. It was Primitive Baptist, that was their denomination. And they acquired the land in 1783. They constructed the building in 1791. There's burial grounds, and the burial grounds include whites, and then over in one corner was identified on the plat. This is where what they referred to as the colored congregates would be buried. And we discovered that the stone where they would lay out the boundaries of the plat was still there. And so we worked very hard, a small group of us, to allow it to stay where it was. And so that was accomplished. I'm particularly honored by this award because I had the pleasure and the privilege of working with Mayo Stunts himself. In my years at the Park Authority, when he was chair of the Sully Foundation, I was able to work with him. I consider that a privilege, and I'm definitely honored to be recognized by his award.
Thank you for your great work, Barbara. Our next speaker needs no introduction. He's been a part of the Ellys for many years. I speak of none other than Congressman Jerry Connolly. Let's welcome our 7th-term, 11th District Congressional Representative, ex-chairman of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, longtime park advocate, and all-around favorite son, Jerry Connolly. Mr. Congressman, you have the floor.
Hi, this is Congressman Jerry Connolly, and thank you for having me here this evening to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Fairfax County Park Foundation. The Fairfax County Park Foundation has channeled the generosity of others into projects that benefit all of us. The foundation has provided an avenue for many members of our community to give back in a very tangible way. As the former chairman of Fairfax County and now as a congressman, I understand that nonprofits are vital to meeting the needs of our communities that our local and federal government cannot. Fortunately, for the last 20 years, the Park Foundation has helped to fill some of those gaps in funding for a host of park projects throughout our community. The foundation has played a role in many of the district's most meaningful events, from funding the 4-H Carnival and Frying Pan Park to cleaning the watershed at Hidden Oaks. Its work has been admired by thousands of families, and all of us have benefited. They collected contributions from open space preservation as well, adding to the tens of thousands of acres of parkland in Fairfax County. Each year, the foundation's PAC scholarships allow children in supportive housing to attend summer camps, and it sponsors programs throughout the year to bring STEM education to local students. Even our four-legged community members have enjoyed events such as dog days with help from the Park Foundation. Easy access to parks, green spaces, and recreation areas is critical to our well-being. From improving the health and wellness of residents to creating a healthier physical environment, parks are vital to the future of America and certainly to the future of Fairfax County. I commend the Park Foundation for 2 decades of progress and service. In the words of the late Muhammad Ali, service to others is the rent you pay for the room here on earth. I encourage all of you to join me in thanking the Park Foundation staff for many amazing years of work. We're looking forward to the next 20 years. Thank you. Stay safe. See you in person next year.
As you may be aware, the Park Foundation is marking its 20th anniversary this year. It's a remarkable accomplishment that has made a great difference in the Park Authority's ability to rise above the usual, to offer things that tax dollars cannot pay for, and to stretch our reach to those in need. Summer concerts, park pavilions, honorary benches, special events, summer camps, scholarships, new trails, and playgrounds are just a part of the part and parcel of what they do. Let's find out more. Please welcome Park Foundation Board of Director Vice Chair Anita Herrera and Park Foundation Executive Director Roberta Bobby Longworth.
It all began in April 2000 when the Forward-Thinking Park Authority Board approved the establishment of a dedicated foundation to attract supplementary support. Shortly thereafter, the Fairfax County Park Foundation's first volunteer board of directors was formed to raise funds, obtain grants, and create partnerships that enrich parks. By December, the Park Foundation received its IRS designation as a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, and was incorporated by the Commonwealth of Virginia's State Corporation Commission. As we wrap up this exciting 20th anniversary year, here are the top 20 highlights made possible by volunteers and generous donors just like you. Thank you and enjoy.
The Park Foundation began accepting gifts for Fairfax County Park Authority programs and the Open Space Land Preservation Fund to acquire undeveloped land that became public parks. Clemmy-Jontry Park became FCPF's first high-profile project thanks to land benefactor Adele Leibowitz. It was deemed the best playground by Washingtonian magazine, where every child can play. The Foundation Board established the Aiken Philanthropy Award, named for the first park donor, Leroy Aiken Sr. The Joey Pisano Memorial Fund received the inaugural award for the Our Special Harbor Sprayground. The Foundation won the National Recreation and Park Association's National Corporate Humanitarian Award for funding adapted aquatics and Chessie's Big Backyard Playground, accessible treehouse, and carousel. The Foundation secured sponsorships to fund free performances in the FCPA Summer Entertainment Series concerts and movies, including Arts in the Park's children's performances throughout the county. FCPF supported class scholarships to underserved children and families. The Let's Help Kids Rec Pack campaign offered summer camp program scholarships for children living in supportive housing. Significant sponsorships for the U.S. Golf Association's 88th Annual U.S. Amateur Public Links Championship and the Combo Classic golf tournaments helped make golf available to the public. The meaningful watershed educational experience at Hidden Oaks Nature Center funded hands-on and virtual educational programs that teach the importance of caring for the Chesapeake Bay. The dedication of the Jerry Connolly Cross County Trail and recognition of the Foundation's Bill Vesey Trails Fund helped build, beautify, and care for the most used amenity in Fairfax County parks. The Foundation earned a National Trust for Historic Preservation Partners in Preservation grant to restore Colvin Run Mill, to demonstrate technological innovation, and to tell the social legacy stories of its working class. The Lieutenant Colonel Gary F. Smith Field at Grist Mill Park honors the Fairfax County soccer coach who was in the Pentagon on 9/11. His memorial gifts fund the Honoring America's Veterans program for military and their families. Inspired by members of the Analemma Society, Gene and Rick Edelman funded a telescope for Observatory Park at Turner Farm. It features a retractable roll-top roof that offers stellar views of celestial bodies. A generous donation from Wayne and Angela Vallis enabled the TrackMan Indoor Golf Simulator, where players can play at the renovated Vallis Family Golf Learning Center at FCPA's Pinecrest Golf Course. The Washington Nationals Dream Foundation Legacy Fields program provided $1 million in baseball field improvements. It brought electronic scoreboards, dugouts, and batting cages to Mason District and Fred Crabtree Parks. The Foundation Board established the Leadership Society of Benefactors for those giving $10,000 or more in a single year. FCPF initiated the Capacity Building Fund grants to expand the important work of FCPA Friends Groups. Dedicated volunteers support, enhance, and advocate for Fairfax County parks, facilities, and services. The foundation received the National Capital Gift Planning Council's Jim Potter Memorial Award. It was for expanding Legacy Circle membership of individuals who have included or who commit to include the foundation in their will or in other gift plans. FCPF exceeded the $1 million mark in monetary giving in a single fiscal year thanks to donors and to the Lazar family. They established a future fund for natural resource management. The foundation began a campaign to fund STEAM. It's a campaign that will bring science, technology, engineering, art, and math features to the Sully Woodlands Stewardship Education Center at Eleanor C. Lawrence Park. The foundation completed a multi-year campaign to fund 2 new picnic shelters at Burke Lake Park. They are near the train station and ice cream parlor. This treasured park attracts more than 1 million visitors each year.
The Fairfax County Park Foundation is celebrating its first 20 years of enriching Fairfax County parks. Since its inception, the Park Foundation has attracted more than $12 million of support for parks and programs that are much loved by residents and visitors. Built on the cornerstones of public service and trust, the Park Foundation maintains GuideStar's highest level of recognition, the Platinum Seal of Transparency for program and financial reporting. This platinum status is held by less than 0.01% of all charitable organizations. The Fairfax County Park Foundation is grateful for everything you do for our Fairfax County parks. Whether you contribute cash, your time and talent as a volunteer, plant a tree, sponsor a bench, donate your car, make a monetary donation through a family foundation, donor-advised fund, IRA distribution, stock gift, or you leave a legacy in your will, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining the mission of the Park Foundation to enrich the Fairfax County parks that you love.
Our next awards are presented by the Fairfax County Park Foundation. The foundation is a proud co-sponsor of tonight's awards and a contributing partner to the Park Authority, attracting millions of dollars in support of Fairfax County Park outreach programs, facility improvements, and events such as this. The Park Foundation brings out the best in people. Residents and businesses in Fairfax County understand that giving helps meet the needs of the future. In fact, in fiscal year 2019, 2,471 donations, large and small, came from corporations and individuals alike. Please welcome our presenters, Chairman of the Park Foundation Board of Directors, Michael Galliot, the Park Foundation Board of Directors, Laura Aiken-Ehrlicher, and Tim Aiken-Walsh.
The Aiken Philanthropy Award was named in honor of the Aiken family, donors of the first parcels of parkland to the Park Authority more than 50 years ago. The annual award recognizes individuals and organizations whose financial or in-kind contributions have significantly enhanced Fairfax County parks through the foundation.
My name is Michael Galliot, the chair of the Fairfax County Park Foundation Board of Directors. It's my honor to introduce the Aiken Philanthropy Individual Award winner, Wayne, Angela, and the Vallis family. They've been actively involved in various parks since 2012. In 2017, they funded the Trackman 4 Golf Simulator at the Vallis Family Learning Center at Pinecrest Golf Center in Alexandria, Virginia, and were the first significant benefactors of the 2 picnic shelters at Burke Lake Park, which recently opened in the children's area of this popular park. Please join me in thanking the Vallises for their generous donations and their enthusiastic appeal to invite others to give to the Park Foundation and support your Fairfax County parks.
am Angela Vallis.
And I'm Wayne Vallis. And as a couple, we've had the honor of financially assisting the Fairfax County Park System. I grew up in this area. My father and an elderly gentleman in his 90s taught me how to play golf at Pinecrest before it became public. My mother used to take us out to Burke Lake when I was a young man and to go on the trails and at some point to ride the little train. I always loved Burke Lake and Pinecrest. They were my favorite two parks as a young boy and then as a young man. When I got to the stage of marrying Angela and working and doing okay, I wanted to find ways to give back. The first thing I did when I could afford it was to contribute a bench to Pinecrest in honor of my dad and my brother, and it also had me on it as well. So we did that. But then I wanted to find ways to do something more. The Vallis Learning Center at Pinecrest is a place where they will teach golf, what I would say properly, professionally. Most people who learn to play golf and are serious about it have to go to golf instructors, paying from $100, $200, higher amounts of money per hour to get lessons. The device that looks at your entire game is called a TrackMan. Professional golfers use TrackMan. They have them in their homes. TrackMan can cost as little as $25,000, and they can go all the way up to $100,000. People who are normal people without wealth don't have access to them. And it's wonderful that they can go and have affordable golf, and they can have access to the very highest golf instructions, but at a reasonable cost.
We've also contributed to the picnic shelters at Burke Lake, and it's wonderful to have that space where families, friends can get together, and there's also in case of inclement weather or rain, there's a top to it, but it's still in the open air, which is very, very enjoyable.
All of us live in a county, lovely county, that has become urban. It is more like city life than it is country life. And we live in a time when all the media bombard us with appeals to our emotions. Parks and nature transcends all this. And by having a kind of a harmony with nature, we get another kind of harmony too. It's a harmony in our lives toward one another.
Hello, I'm Laura Aiken-Erlacher, a member of the Fairfax County Park Foundation Board. Although we can't be in person, I'm delighted to be presenting these awards from Aiken Park. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Dan Dyke and Jean Bacher, Board President and Vice President of the Friends of Calvin Run Mill, the winner of the Aiken Philanthropy FCPA Friends Award. The Friends of Calvin Run Mill have been active for many years in helping preserve and protect the historical Calvin Run Mill. Since 2010, they have donated or provided in-kind support exceeding $185,000. In January 2019, the Friends of Calvin Run Mill ratified a Memorandum of Understanding with FCPA, which strengthened their relationship with the Park Authority and Park Foundation. We are grateful for their loyal support of our friends. Thank you.
Well, they'll do whatever Jim tells them to do.
Whatever Mary tells me to do.
Yeah. So when Steve and I did the race.
My name's Dan Dyke. I'm the president of Friends of Calvin Run Mill. And since 1999, we've been supporting programs, events, and maintenance of this wonderful mill that we're standing in front of. We have been able to contribute quite a bit to a lot of what's going on here. For example, we proposed and won an award grant from American Express and the National Trust for Historic Preservation for $75,000 that was used to restore a number of the machinery that's in the upper 2 floors of the mill. Another example is we did some fundraising. The two of the founding members of Fulcrum, Marjorie and Bob Lundegard, led a campaign to collect donations and also the proceeds of books that Marge had written. We ended up with $50,000 that was used for capital improvements. We've also purchased historic reproduction furniture for the Miller's House exhibit, which was just about to open when the pandemic hit. Closed down, obviously. We're hoping that within the next few weeks we're going to hear when we'll be able to open to visitors and see what life was like back there in the 1800s and early 1900s. And because it's reproduction furniture, people can sit in it, visitors can try out some board games that might have been popular at the time and really get an idea of the life of the owners and the people that lived in the Miller's house during those times. You know, this past year has been terrible for everybody. And to be selected out of all of the wonderful friends groups that support the parks throughout Fairfax County is very special. We are proud of the work that we do, and we're really proud that we were recognized for the work that we're doing here.
Hi, I'm Tim Walsh, a director of the Fairfax County Park Foundation Board. I'm very pleased to introduce this year's Aiken Philanthropy Organization Award winner, the Fairfax Memorial Funeral Home and Fairfax Memorial Park, represented tonight by General Manager Laura Becker. The Fairfax Memorial's partnership with the Fairfax County Park Authority and Park Foundation dates all the way back to 2003, when they began their sponsorship of Braddock Nights, part of the county's summer entertainment series. Since then, Fairfax Memorial has donated $78,000 to help fund this popular entertainment series. And in 2020, they sponsored the new Arts in the Parks children's series at Wakefield Park. We hope other individuals and organizations watching this event are inspired and also consider or attempt to leave an individual legacy plan or long-term donation plan with the Fairfax County Park Foundation, similar to the great contributions our 3 award recipients have made to date. Laura, thank you for Fairfax Memorial's long-term and committed support of Braddock Nights in Fairfax County.
Hi, my name is Laura Becker. I'm General Manager here at Fairfax Memorial Funeral Home. And in 2003, which was the year the funeral home opened, Sharon Bulova, who was the district supervisor at the time, reached out and requested our sponsorship for the summer concert series.
And she explained to Mike D., the former owner of Fairfax Memorial Park and Funeral Home, that they had one large firm that got purchased by an international company and they were pulling their sponsorship. And they needed somebody to fill in so they can continue with the program. And Mike D. recalled taking his father to a couple of the orchestras that they had at the parks, and his father loved them, and he said the joy that he's seen from his dad that day, he could not see a program like that stopping. So he decided to contribute. And we've made approximately $78,000 in contributions for the summer entertainment series. In 2020, when we partnered with Carriage Services out of Texas, we decided to up our contribution because we do believe in giving back to the community that we serve.
It's an honor to receive the award, being a member of the staff here at Fairfax Memorial, that we were able to help the community in any way that we can to maintain and then to continue their programs.
I think it's great for mental health to be able to go and spend the time in the park. Here at Fairfax, we are a cemetery, but it also looks like a park, and people come here and they get a sense of peace. And we need that sometimes for our mental health. So I'm happy that we were able to contribute, and we will continue to contribute. And I'm also hoping that families will ask when they see the award hanging up at our locations what that award means. And maybe like how Sharon reached out to Mike and shared the story, we can share that same story and get other people to see the importance of making those contributions to our parks.
Thank you so much to all our benefactors and to the Park Foundation for what you do. In 2021, the Park Board had a record number of nominees to consider, and the choices were very difficult. Our volunteers are of the highest caliber, and during the pandemic, they really rose to the occasion. I know we missed them, and we were very glad to see so many return to service. Now it's time for our Elly Doyle Park Service Awards. This is where it all began. Elly Mae Doyle was one of those people with an agenda, a calling of sorts, that fortunately included a bright vision for our park system. As a member and chair of the Park Authority Board, she championed change and growth and preservation. We now present our Youth Awards, Special Recognition Designees, and our 3 2021 Elly Doyle winners. What a great group of champions.
The Elly Doyle Park Service Award was established in honor of Elly Mae Doyle's many years of service and accomplishments as a member and chairman of the Park Authority Board. The county's park system expanded and thrived during her tenure with the addition of significant open space, construction of new recreational facilities, and a commitment to preservation of natural and cultural resources in Fairfax County.
Extremely honored to receive this reward because it's not something I would have expected to get. I started volunteering because it was something I wanted to do and enjoyed doing. Well, I kind of had interest in animals like snakes and like a lot of reptiles, and so it was like the easiest and most safe place to learn about them is a nature center because I can handle them while also not having to worry about hurting them. When I go into the center, I take care of a lot of like the snakes and the turtles by finding food for them, like worms and beetles and sometimes fish. And then I also clean their enclosure and change their water. And we also handle the ones that need to be handled. Like you handle the snake because the more you handle them, the more use they get to people, so they don't bite as much. Well, when I come to Hidden Pond and look for invasive plants, I'll walk around the trails and kind of see where a big group of them are, and then what they are, so we know what kind of tools we need, and if I can, remove them without tools. Today we had geology and hydrology camp, and we went down to the stream and went fishing and netting, and then we also learned more about rocks in the geological period of time and then what kind of rocks are in the park. I told them about what kind of fish they caught. There was a lot of bluegills, great chubs, and just minnows that they caught, and also kind of help them with fishing and baiting the rods and stuff. The most rewarding part of my volunteer work is probably being able to help out with something and knowing I can contribute to something like removing invasive species or helping take care of the animals up at the center.
My name is Nicole Wergel. I'm the Director of Communications for the Friends of Lake Accotink Board, and I volunteer at the monthly lake cleanups with setup, cleaning up the lake, and posting on the social media to get the word out to volunteers. So when I was younger, I would volunteer with my family a lot. We moved around a lot, so volunteering is a great way to get involved in the community and get to know people. So we'd volunteer a lot through church, or if we saw different projects that were posted around the community. So it's a good way to get to know your neighborhood and get to know people in the neighborhood. So that's something we kind of carried on until now. It's great to have a Sunday morning every month that I get to volunteer with my dad. We live in different cities, kind of close by, but it is like a Sunday morning that we have dedicated to doing a little bit of volunteer work and catching up and hanging out for a little bit. So it's a great way to hang out with family, catch up, and do a little bit of volunteer work in my hometown. So we usually get here around 8 o'clock to set things up from the shed. We have a lot of volunteers who show up at 9 o'clock. We'll even have some early volunteers. So we try and get set up pretty early with all of the sign-in sheets and all of the volunteer supplies on the table. And then about 9 o'clock, I'll go off to the lake with him and help pick up some trash. And we have some people who stay at the table for volunteers to sign in. The most rewarding part of volunteering at the lake cleanups is seeing how many people show up, see the outcome, seeing how much trash we get to pick up, and getting to spend time with my dad once a month doing this lake cleanup and seeing the difference before and after, getting a lot of the trash out of the lake, trying to make it a nice clean spot for everyone to come hang out in the community. I was honored to receive this award because I know we've had some board members in the past who received it, and I was just honored to even be recognized for it. I'm very surprised to get this kind of recognition. So I think it felt really great to be considered for the award in the same way that some of our great volunteers in the past have.
So my name is Jennifer Grinnell, and I'm a founder and the president of Eleanor C. Lawrence Park Friends Group, along with my friends and neighbors Amy Swindell, Ellen McGlone, and Chris McGlone. We founded it in 2019, right before the pandemic, and mainly we were really started to support the Selly Woodlands Stewardship Education Center. We ended up doing a lot of fundraising, probably raised a little more than $13,000 to date, but we're still working on it. So when we were asked to help support the Selly Woodlands Stewardship Education Center, I just happened to be a brand developer, so of course I had to brand everything. So we branded the Park Friends Group. We do fundraising, we have t-shirts, we did a logo, and we actually were working on the Selly Woodlands Stewardship Education Center brand development as well. Well, when the pandemic hit, we thought, now what can we do? So we did a couple of different things. One, Parkymon, which focused on Pokemon community days, and we thought there's already a captive audience in the park. How do we get them to come and learn more about ECLP? So Parkymon was a lot of fun. We engaged our college volunteers and just thought, this is every age, right? These are young people, young adults even. They're already wandering around the park trying to catch Pokemon. So we created Parkymon characters. We put them up. It was low tech, but great designs. They all had meaning for the park, and it was a lot of fun. And we'll do it again for sure. It was it raised a lot of awareness. So we've had, in the absence of having, again, a lot of in-person events, we did a little more fundraising. So we started the Red Wagon portable sandbox program, where you can actually rent a little red wagon and take your kids and they can play with farm animals or learn about nature. So we had to do fundraising for that. We've secured several grants. The most rewarding part about this award certainly is to bring a focus to our park and the people who work so hard to maintain it and have the programs. That's very rewarding, because I think supporting the woodlands is huge, because that is going to be here for generations. So everyone that is contributing to that, that's a legacy. Well, I would say we are honored as a Friends group to receive this, again, I believe, to highlight our park in general and everything it's given us, especially in the last year. People are out in the parks all the time, maybe people who weren't visiting before, and now they are, right? It saved people's lives, I think. The park is not only your lungs, it's the heart and soul of a community.
I'm Ann Marlowe, and I serve as the Vice President and Board Member for the Friends of Frying Pan Farm Park Board here at Frying Pan Farm Park. And I've been involved with the board over 30 years, and serving on the board, we can advocate for this, for the park and be, we truly are friends of the park, and I believe in the park so wholeheartedly. It's just a great place. You love coming out here, seeing all the families, seeing the kids. It's a great place for kids to learn. Well, I realized over the years that we had a need for updated facilities. There was a lot of interest in the animals and the equestrian part that goes on here at the park. There are a lot of horse shows and clinics and educational programs. And previous to the building that we're in now, the horse barn, there really weren't enough nice stalls. I mean, we really needed better facilities. And also the indoor arena was built prior to this facility, this barn being built, because there was a need for a facility to hold a lot of these activities that could be held even in inclement weather, so we needed an indoor arena. There is a green barn that's next to the country store and the schoolhouse, and we named that the 4-H building back in the day when I was still working for Extension, but I was on the board. And that was an accomplishment that I was very happy about, that they named it the 4-H building. And it's used for many things. I think one of the things that I really enjoy about serving on the Friends Board is the people. The people not only who are my cohorts who serve on the board. I've learned a lot from these volunteers myself, but it's a really dedicated and knowledgeable group, and I have really hold in high esteem the staff here at the park too. I mean, they do a wonderful job. They work so hard. Well, I am extremely humbled to be nominated and to be receiving the Elly Doyle Special Recognition Award this year. I know that it's a special award, and I'm really flattered that I was nominated to receive this, and I am really appreciative.
We love to be outside. We love plants and flowers and working with them. Specifically what we do is it's all manual type work. We're down on our hands and knees a lot, pulling up weeds. So basically it's just worker bee type activities. What we were doing today is everything is grown. We have done all of this 3 weeks ago, and now bushes have all grown a foot or so. So I was trimming the bushes to get them back down to their size we want them, and I edged along the mulched area to get a definite line there. Then of course we raked everything up. The ladies, they were trimming around underneath, pulling up all the weeds. And then we went over here to this bocce court over here, which you would think it was for playing, but for the most part it grows weeds over there. So every 3 weeks we have to come in and pull all the weeds back up out of it and make it look like a court again. So they have to grab the weeds by their one hand, and then pry them up with this little tool, and then put them in a trash bag, and then we haul them away. And then I come along with a screen and re-drag the area to smooth it out. As I say, I enjoy working with my hands and trying to clean up stuff so that other people can enjoy what's here. So that's why I do it. Rewarding part of this would be, for me, is one, that I get to work with my hands, be outdoors, because that's what I've done all my life, and the fact that I make the place look nice, and that people come and they see it and they respond to what I've done and thank me for that. So I've worked outdoors all my life, so I wanted to do something with my free time. So I didn't even know they did this sort of thing. I'm just happy to be here and to be allowed to do some work around here. But it's nice to be, by your peers, to be told that you're holding up your end of the bargain, and they appreciate you being here. So I'm happy about that.
I'm Marion Scafferty, and I'm a board member on the Frying Pan Park. I've been serving here for probably over 40 some years, with a total of service for it with the extension and the park plus 60 years. The main job this last few years has been writing personal thank you notes to people that are so generously donating to the park for the animals and for the park itself. Well, I feel honored because I feel as if I've made so many connections with so many people through my writing of thank you notes, because it builds up a relationship practically with the donor and us at the park, and they now know that we appreciate their donation, and they can see when they come to the park of the improvements that are done, that the animals are taken care of. And it's just great to see the families come in and their eyes just light up, and it's so rewarding to see, you know, the children and then the families, just the connection from the farm, from us volunteers to the families. It's very rewarding to see the cooperation and all. The reason I think a personal note means so much, it puts you feel more connection with the farm and and us with the people that are donating. And I think it's a great way to send a note that people will accept it, show it on to their friends or something at time. I'll mention, oh, I got a thank you note from the park for my donation. And that sort of embeds into the family. And I'm trying to be a salesman so we can keep on going from generation to generation for support for the farm here. And I like the connection with my greatest thing is I like writing the notes, but it gives me a feeling that I have more connection with the people that are enjoying this farm and with their families, and what the Friends of Frying Pan Park, the support that we're receiving from the members of Frying Pan Park.
I'm Alan Young. I'm a site leader here at Arrowhead Park, and I'm the person who gathers volunteers and helps remove invasive plants. What I do first is decide on a work day, and typically I choose a weekend day, either Saturday or Sunday, around 9 to 11 o'clock in the morning, so that most people can come. Most of the people who volunteer happen to be high school kids. Well, for the high school kids who've never actually pulled an invasive plant, I would usually take a cutting of an invasive plant to show them. I go over the invasive plants that we'll be removing and show them how to use the tools. And then we go about through the park and find the invasive plants, cut them down, and bag them. At the end of the day, we take all the bags and put them into a single location or two locations, depending on how far they have to travel. And then we'll notify the county to pick these bags up. For the plants, we have 4 main invasive species that we have to control. One is the autumn olive, one is the Japanese honeysuckle, one is the Japanese stiltgrass, and one is the multiflora rose. And each one has a unique tool that is best used. For the stiltgrass, all you need is your hands. They're very light rooted, so you can just pull them out with your hands. With the honeysuckle, it wraps around plants, so sometimes you'll just need a hand tool to cut them off and make it easier to unwrap in a bag. With the multiflora rose, since it has thorns, it's best to also have someone work as a partner with a rake to hold the plants down as you cut them. The most rewarding part is educating the public so they know what is an invasive plant and how to deal with it if they encounter it. And then when they walk up and down the path here at Arrowhead Park, they can enjoy the native species and not be distracted by the invasive plants. Which is interesting also in another way. If you don't know what's an invasive plant, if you look at the plants, they say, oh, these are all nice and green, so that must be nice. But it's not so nice for the native population of animals who live here, who depend on the native species for food and shelter. I didn't even know this award existed until this happened. My feeling is the county probably looked at my service over 8 years and counted the number of bags and think that that was something worth rewarding. And for that, I'm quite honored.
So my name is Elly Smith, and I'm serving as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we've been serving here at Lake Acton Park, trying to preserve the beauty here by protecting the native plants and trees growing here. And so we do that by pulling plants such as porcelain berries. And that helps keep the trees and the plants here natively alive.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they've been phenomenal coming here for the last year and a half, if not 2 years. Just before COVID hit, they started coming here. And even at the height of COVID, where everyone pretty much locked themselves in at houses and where have you, they were here every single Saturday supporting this effort here. This group has given us more volunteer hours than probably our entire volunteer workforce over the last 2 years. All of the groups here that support the invasive management project, they pull all kinds of invasives, starting from very minor Japanese stiltweed, which is very tedious, but you literally have to get on your hands and knees to pull the grass out, to bigger invasives such as this one. This is Oriental bittersweet. The key thing there is the bark, that you can tell, but more importantly, here in this angle here, see how the twist is here? This twist, what it actually done is wrapped itself around a smaller native tree or plant and literally squeeze the life out of it so that it can take over and get to the top. These have roots that are 20, 30, 40 feet long, and they're looped as such as this all through the underground. So this takes days and days, if not weeks, to pull the entire root system from one area. So again, we go from very small projects that the various volunteers assist to the larger ones that this group here helps us pull to achieve the ultimate goal, and that's preserving the nature here.
So we are honored to receive this award because it's just a great blessing to do work in the community and make this park beautiful for people to see and as they walk on these trails. And it's really fulfilling on our part to just see the progress that we make here.
My name is Philip Latassa. I'm a volunteer steward with the Friends of Accotink Creek. The Friends of Accotink Creek are a volunteer group that does whatever it can to enhance the well-being of Accotink Creek and its surrounding watershed. Our activities include biological stream monitoring, stream trash cleanups, removal of invasive exotic plant species, and general education and advocacy on issues regarding Accotink Creek. One of the typical events that we do is the stream cleanup. At a typical stream cleanup, our volunteers will arrive and be advised to first learn a little bit about our watershed and the issues affecting it by looking through the display of educational posters we make available to them. Once they've learned a little bit about the watershed, then the volunteers are provided with gloves, bags, instructions on where and how to clean up, and sent out to the creek to spend a couple of hours picking up trash that thoughtless litter bugs have tossed on the streets and parking lots to be washed down the storm drains directly into the creek every time it rains. Accotink Creek, like most streams in our built-up areas, is suffering from a plague of different problems, including loss of wooded habitat on its banks, various types of pollution, excessive amounts of trash in the stream, lots of invasive species killing off the native vegetation. Ironically, the worst problem affecting Accotink Creek and most of our creeks is water itself. Because of all the paved areas that we humans have added to the landscape, when rain falls, it no longer sinks in to charge the underground aquifer. Rather, it runs off directly into the stream, overwhelming the stream bed, eroding the stream banks, and creating large amounts of fine sediment that smother the living creatures on the bottom of the stream bed that form the basis of the food chain. The Friends of Accotink Creek are honored to again be named recipients of the Elly Doyle Award among the thousands of dedicated volunteers who volunteer each year with the Fairfax County Park Authority. The ever-increasing demands of our ever-increasing population on our limited and finite parklands cannot be met by the budget of the Park Authority alone. Volunteers are needed to protect our native areas, and we encourage all people to volunteer to help protect our natural habitat.
I'm Jeffrey Kretsch. I'm a volunteer on site. This is Observatory Park at Turner Farm. I've been doing this about 20 years. We've been interacting with the public. Our main purpose is to teach science to the public through astronomy. And we started out with Friday night viewings. We eventually expanded it into a fuller program. There was a lot of work done to get the bond issuing thing to get this funded and worked out. We did a lot of work fundraising and working with the public and getting attention to it. And so we've been doing this for quite a number of years, and we've set up courses for park takes, as well as the Friday night programs and special events. Been very popular. We get a lot of people in. I figure about 2,000 a year or more on our average year. And so I'll greet them coming in. I'll ask them, who they are, where they came from, what their interests are. Maybe give them a sky tour if they want. Answer questions, because a lot of them have specific areas or questions like that, especially the kids as well as the parents. The other thing we do is set up a sundial on the sidewalk called an animatic sundial, and kids can actually use that and they become part of the sundial. Their shadow is cast towards the time when they sit at the specified spot. So kids really like that. They gather around when you show them that, and it's an active participant to them. Well, I discovered that through the International Dark Sky Association had a designation for an urban dark sky site. And when I found out about that, I did the initial work identifying where we were, put us on a map so they'd have our location and realize how close we were to a city, and then an idea of what kind of environment we were in, urban, suburban. So I provided that initial information about the observatory here on our site. And then I did a dark sky survey. I actually have instruments, and I measured the darkness of the night sky and took night photographs to show where the light pollution was coming from in each direction, so they knew what our dark order sky actually looked like at night. So it's actually a designation of a place that actually educates the public about what light pollution is and what can be done about it, and it gives them an idea of the impacts of it and how to try and deal with some of those and mitigate those impacts. And so we're trying to get a designation for being such a site by showing that we do indeed educate the public on that, and we follow good lighting practices. That's why we did a light survey, for example. I think the most rewarding thing is actually helping with the education of the public and children in particular, and hoping that they lead to another generation of scientists and similar types of things. And for the general public that don't become scientists, they become better citizens. I was honored. Mainly it was a surprise to me in some ways, but I was honored because just that understanding or designation, some of that just tells me that there's value in this, and we use that actually to get more attention for what we need to further our program. And so to me, that's probably the biggest thing is that kind of attention stuff helps us get more volunteers and more people, and that to me is the long-range plan.
Well, Cynthia and Maggie, we made it. We thank you for watching and offer congratulations to all our honorees. We thank our presenters and those who put the ceremony together. We also want to thank the wonderful singers from Westfield High School, Channel 16, the staff awards team, our videographers, the promotional service folks, the volunteer coordinators, and of course, our amazing volunteers. We have listed all the individuals who helped in the program. Hopefully, we did not miss anyone.
Ron, I must agree, this has been a great ceremony. Tonight is really about gratitude for the generosity of others. An unknown author wrote, "Wouldn't it be an exhilarating tonic for the soul to take a moment to appreciate the simple, good things in life which are so bountiful?" As a member of the Volunteer Park Authority Board, I agree wholeheartedly with those sentiments. I wish you all well, and thank you for letting me be a part of this wonderful evening.
Yes, Ron and Maggie, it's been a great program, and I too want to thank folks who made it so special, including the two of you. It's been a long night, but let us close with best wishes to you and yours for a happy holiday season and a bountiful Thanksgiving. Let's socially distance and keep washing our hands. Please be safe. Don't forget your mask. Wear it for you and yours, and even for folks you don't even know. So it is now the giving season, and your generosity and your kindness will be very much appreciated by all. So stay safe again, and I hope to see you again. Thank you all, and good night.
Still